Hello and welcome to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally and today we are back doing 100 years of Watchtower lies. Today we're going to be looking at two different topics, but they're contained within a single page of the book, so very exciting. I'm really enjoying this series. I hope you guys are. Let me know down in the comments what other books or publications you think might be interesting to look at, or if you just want to see the video series continue as well. And then don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the future fun. Let's get into it. Oh, great. So we're going to kick things off by talking about demons. Now, Joseph Rutherford believed that the demons had rebelled and came down, and the whole story of Noah's flood filled the earth with the Nephilim and all of that good stuff. And then that world was, wiped away. But the demons, they were in Tartarus. And in his mind, Tartarus was related to the Earth's atmosphere itself, and that was the Tartarus that they were confined to. Now, it is interesting because he does have an entire book called Talking with the Dead, which I was able to find and download. I just haven't gotten around to actually reading it yet, so that might be the subject of a future video. But without getting too far into the weeds, without losing the point, yes, he believed that the demons were active, and that back in Noah's day, when, the Nephilim and everything, they were very active during the end of that world. And so now that they were expecting the end of another world, he made a correlation between those two things, saying that the demons were going to be very active. And the evidence that he gives of that is really interesting. So on page 60 of Millions Now Living Will Never Die, it says this.
Hello there.
These demons restrained in the atmosphere about the earth have had power to communicate with the living ones of the human race through the instrumentality of mediums. These matters are fully discussed in my book, Talking with the Dead, and I do not here go into detail. I merely call attention to the fact that the clear inference to be drawn from the above text is that when the end of the world is reached, the demons would have greater power and would exercise that power over men. The Tsar of Russia was constantly in communication with the demons through a medium whom he kept in the royal palace. Emperor William of Germany claimed to have an inner ear and averred that he heard voices from beyond and was guided largely by these. The course of the demons is that of wickedness, and without a doubt, the Great World War, which was started in 1914, was chiefly induced by the influence of these demons. Now, the reason I wanted to bring about this or even talk about it, because it seems a little vanilla on the surface, is that Jehovah's Witnesses, whenever they're being persecuted, like to claim that it's because of their religious beliefs. And if you are a believing Jehovah's Witness and you think back onto when the directors of the Watchtower were all thrown in prison, we had all grown up with this idea that, it's because, they didn't want to go to war and they refused to, do anything for war, or it's because they were just being religiously persecuted. But when you actually go and research these things a little bit farther, you'll find out that it has much to do with these types of claims. These claims of the rulers of, any given party or wherever it might be in the world are actually being controlled by Satan and his demons, and you can't trust the government because it's a satanic organization trying to mislead you, and you need to put your full trust in God and in the system that they're espousing at the time. And I just find it fascinating when you see this type of language where he's like, the Tsar of Russia, the Emperor of Germany, have claimed to be using these spirit mediums, and therefore they are directly being led by Satan and his demons. And then right there at the end of that, it says 1914, the Great War. Nothing to do with the geopolitics of the time, had everything to do with the influence of demons. So I just find it kind of interesting to take something that we thought and then you reconstruct it a little bit and look at the actual facts of the matter. And it has a lot more to do with them saying these types of statements and much less to do with well, we believe in the Bible and we're being persecuted for our belief in the Bible, because that simply is not the reason that they were thrown in prison. And then going a little bit farther, it says this: the scriptures tell us of a great whirlwind that will be raised up from the coast of the earth. A whirlwind is a symbol of a great war. The Great War created an interest in Spiritism, such as the world has never known, and some of the leading minds of the world have become devotees of it and are proclaiming the spiritualistic doctrine to the confusion of mankind. These demons are otherwise described in the scriptures as the four winds, and Jesus, speaking through the Rutherford, said, "I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree, till we have sealed the servants of our God." These winds or powers of the air are not powers of natural air, but the powers referred to by St. Paul when he speaks of the prince of the power of the air. These demons are exercising power over the minds of the people, causing distress, discontent, restlessness, hatred, ill will, malice, strife, and all kinds of controversy and trouble. Now, this I found interesting as well, because I was like, wait, the four winds and these four angels? I thought those had always been spoken about as being referred to as, God's angels holding back, what was going to happen right before Armageddon. So I whipped out my old Revelation book, and bada bing, bada boom, we're gonna get the full download here. So in that book, it describes these nuts, the four angels, as this. No doubt these four angels represent four angelic groups whom Jehovah uses to hold back the execution of judgment until the appointed time. When the angels release those winds of divine wrath to whirl at one time from north, south, east, and west, the devastation will be tremendous. It will resemble, but on a stupendous scale, Jehovah's use of the four winds to scatter the Elamites, shattering and exterminating them. So, whenever we have these instances of an adjustment in understanding, or new light, as it were, sometimes that can be excused, but not in cases like this. This is the case of calling a keyboard a mouse and a mouse a keyboard, and then all of a sudden being like, no, actually, what we're going to call the keyboard is a wallet, and what we're going to call the mouse is a watch. And just completely doing a 180 flip, just changing it entirely. Like, okay, these are demons. No, these are God's angels. These winds are the evil spirits that are influencing man and all of the chaos that we see from the Great War. Actually, these are God's winds of wrath. So these are righteous. It goes from attributing it to something that's righteous to something that's unrighteous. So what does this mean to Jehovah's Witnesses? Well, everything in their doctrine is subject to change. They have an idea that, well, our core beliefs, our core understandings of things has been consistent over the last 100 years. We didn't believe in hellfire. We didn't believe in the Trinity. We do believe that the earth will be populated. And they basically stick to those very, very, very few things. But when you look at everything in its entirety, you see a clear picture where everything around those very tiny details that they claim to have gotten right, that was the only thing that's remained the same. Everything else has changed, and at times it goes from, calling something white, then to calling something black. And to a Jehovah's Witness, that means everything should be just taken as a placeholder, because at any point in time, the governing body can say, well, you know what, the four winds, they're actually talking about the demons ruling over the earth, and these four, they can do it at any time. And I think it's important, us as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that are maybe in a position to be able to talk to some of our former friends or family members, and we are able to have some type of dialogue with them. I think points like these are important to bring up, because it basically says, so your faith is whatever the governing body teach, and it has nothing to do with biblical understanding, because biblical understanding can look like this. where something can mean this one day and it means something completely different another. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you again tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific time. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, we're going to have that big, huge, massive, I don't know what other big words that you want to throw in there, comedy skit at the end of this series in a couple of days. So be on the lookout for that. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow.